Hi, we are going to see how to install Ollama and then run the LLM applications locally. It's a very cool software, but it is very easy to set up. So you will type Ollama in the Google search, which will give you the Ollama website. From there, you can click on the download link, which will directly send you to download for Windows link. But if you're using some other computer systems like Mac OS or Linux, you need to select the corresponding one. In my case, I'm using Windows, so I will click on the download button and then it will download into my machine. And then you will install it as a normal software installation. To install the software, there are multiple ways to check it. One of the easiest ways is that you go to your task tray, which is in the Windows system towards the right hand bottom corner. You click on the up arrow sign where you will see this particular icon, which is an Ollama icons, which is a picture of a llama, and you can see that. So if you hover your mouse over it and you can right click on it, then you can see the Ollama, the update options and logs, and you can also stop Ollama. The next option is that you can come to the command window and you can type the command Ollama. So if you run this Ollama command in the command prompt, that will return the available commands. Then you can use these commands to run the LLM models and download the LLM models and show which LLM models at the moment Ollama is supporting in your system. So now I have run the command Ollama list that will show you all the available generative AI LLM models in the system and also its size and then a unique identifier of this download. So from this list, I can use any of this LLM model to my generative AI apps using the Ollama repository. One of the things you need to understand working with Ollama is that it is case sensitive. The commands in the command prompt is case sensitive. For example, if I type Ollama and then capital letter list, it won't give you the result. It will ask you to specify the small letter list command. So keep this in your mind. Okay, now which models we can download using Ollama? That's the question. So you will go to the Ollama screen and then Ollama web page and then click on the models, which will list you all the models Ollama currently supports. So it have Qwen 3, DevStall, DeepSeek R1, Ollama 4. And for this demo, I will use some of the small model because Ollama 4, if you look into that, that's kind of 67 gigabytes and all. But if you look into the Qwen model, you can see it's supporting the tools and we even have the 1.7 GB option. So I will use this Qwen 1.7 billion to download and also to run this command. But you can download any other models like Gamma 3 or DeepSeek R1 or Ollama 4. Okay, so in order to pull Qwen 3, you will go to that page model where you can see this command. So you will copy this command and then you go back to the command prompt. So now I have copied the command Ollama run Qwen 3 1.7 billion parameters command and I am running this. So this will pull. So or you can use the pull command Ollama instead of run pull command, which will only download the model, which will not run it. But the run command, if the model is not already installed, it will install and then run this command. So as you can see, it's now downloading. 26% is completed. I will fast forward this download operation. So it's successfully downloaded and now it's ready to accepting our message. Okay, so now Ollama is running the model Qwen 3, which is 1.7 billion parameters. Before you download any model, you need to understand what is the business problem or what is the problem you are trying to solve with these large language model apps. Based on the problem you are seeing, based on the problem you are solving, you need to select the model. For the demo purpose, we choose one of the smallest model, and that model is not the best model for many of the real world problems. But if you go to that pages of the model in the Ollama, you can see which scenarios it's supporting. For example, Qwen 1.3 supporting 100 plus languages. It can be used in mathematics, code generation, and logical reasoning. But make sure that this is a small model, so it won't be performing that many of the proprietary models out in the market. This is only for the demos. But the point is, you need to make sure the model you are downloading is suitable for the problem you are solving. So back to our demo, I'm going to ask a question to the Ollama Qwen 3.1 model, which is how embedding works in LLM apps and why it is useful in LLM apps. So that's the question I want to transfer to this model, and let's see how it is responding. There is a typo, but it will be fine for this model. As you can see, the model support the thinking process, not with old generation of models. So it giving us the proper understanding how this query is going to translate into query generation, and then it will show you the answer. First is the thinking process. As you can see, it's think through different scenarios. It's think through each question we asked. How does this works in LLM apps? Why this is useful? And then it's thinking different combinations of this thinking process, and finally all these thinking process is combined and it giving us the answer. Okay, so thinking process finishing here. It's a lot of text if you look into this thinking, and then finally it giving us the answer. Okay, so what is embedding is used in large language model or vector representation of text data that capture the semantic meaning and contextual relationships. That's very clear answer to our question. Now, how embedding works in large language model, it is also giving a very good explanation, and the process used into creating this, the techniques used in this technology, which is word to word, globe, or BERT. These are the foundational technologies used for LLM models training process, and then how this integrated with the model architecture like the transformer architectures, it explaining that, and finally the usefulness in the LLM apps and some examples of such apps. Okay, we didn't ask this. So this is a very, very powerful and very, very fascinating answer compared to the small size of this model. Okay, so we have achieved install a model from Ollama's model library or registry. Then we used that particular model in our local system, Windows system, which uses only CPU, a normal user personal laptop system. If we want to go out of this model running instance, then we need to type slash and buy. Okay, this will go out of this window. Now we can run new commands, for example, Ollama list. Okay. Okay, so the command prompt is helpful for quick understanding of how this works in the background, but our real intention is, let's say, to create a large language model app to solve some business problem. For that, we need to program it. So how do we use this local LLM model in our system to a program? This is what we are going to see now. So I have a Python file where it is using Ollama libraries, chat and chat response, and then in the chat response I am passing this latest downloaded model Qwen 1.7 billion parameters, and then I am passing a system message showing that I am a maths professor. That is the role of this particular engine, and this is the question I want to pass: how to calculate the value of y. So it's a maths professor, and let's see how this is going to execute and how the answer is coming out. To execute this, I have opened a Python terminal, and in the terminal, I am giving command python.exe, then the file name of this file. Make sure the file is saved, and you also install the Ollama command by using pip install, and then the model will execute. Right now the thinking process is happening. There is no streaming applied into this response. So once all the response is completely generated, including the thinking, the response is going to show up in the terminal. So there will be a delay depending on the system configuration. I'm using a CPU based machine, so there it will take some time to process this. Okay, the answer is came. The only problem I see that I don't know Chinese, so the answer is given to me in Chinese. So I think we need to give the instruction little bit more clear. So I'm going to give a different instruction, and let's see how this behaves. So in the instruction now I changed that you are a math professor and you need to answer in English. And I will say must answer in English, and I am saving this. And then I am again running the command python.exe from Ollama import chat py. Let's wait this command to be executed. The model is now running in the background. The question is passed to the model. The model is now doing the thinking process. Once the response is completely created, it will print the output in the terminal window. Okay, now the answer is back, but you can see the thinking process still happen mostly in Chinese. And here is the answer. They giving the steps to calculate this phi value. So still not impressed, but you need to make sure in the mind that this is a very small model of 1.7 billion parameters, and the mathematical questions mainly trained in Chinese language. That's why we see this response. So depending on the business problem you are solving, you need to download the model which will support this business scenario, and then use that model in your business applications when you're creating the LLM apps. Hope you understand the idea how to download Ollama and how to install a LLM model locally, and then how to create an apps using this locally installed LLM model. See you with another video. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you want to support this channel. Bye.